Orange Connecticut Police Department. Please listen to the following options before making your selection. To report an incident or to reach our dispatch center, press 1. If you know your party's extension, you can...
Wait while I transfer your call. Orange Police, Mr. Welch.
Hi, how are you? I'm calling because I keep being harassed and the harassment does not stop. You guys previously told him not to speak to me on the phone, and he said he can do whatever he wants because...
Okay, ma'am, who are you?
My last name is Antar, A-N-T-A-R. My first name is Theodora. I was there the other day to make a complaint, and the officers that I spoke to said to me that it's totally fine for him to harass me if he wants, that they're not going to tell him to stop harassing me, that he can do what he wants, and that I have no rights. And so I'm continuing to be harassed. I just tried to call my child. He continued to yell at me on the phone. My mother was on the call as a witness. I recorded the whole thing. I'm recording this call as well. Everything is recorded for evidence purposes. And like I said, he's been told already that if he continues...
Okay, I'm sorry, who is the other half?
The last name is Lodice, L-O-D-I-C-E, first name is Matthew. He's been told repeatedly by...
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, are you home?
Yes, and I'm sorry, what's your name? So I know who I'm speaking to?
Dispatcher Welch.
And how do you spell that?
Like the grape juice.
Okay. Yes, I am. I'm trying to work on something, and I have so much stuff I got to do.
So
yep.
Just so I understand, you just tried to call your child and you're saying he harassed you, is that correct?
Yes, and if I could just briefly explain without being interrupted for 1 minute. Again, he was told, and it's in a police report, and I can give you the case number if you'd like to reference it. He was told already in April of 2022 by Officer Fernandez that he's not to have any contact with me outside of the Family Wizard app. If he does, he could be arrested. He continued to contact and harass me for months and months and months, and he was arrested in January for a warrant for harassment. And then there was a protective order on from January to July. He continued to speak to me on the phone every single day during that time, over 85 documented times that I recorded of him speaking to me on the calls when he's not allowed to. He was told by you and the protective order, he still didn't care. He says to me every time, he talks about how he has connections with organized crime. He says that because of his connections with organized crime and bribing people, that he can do anything he wants. He tells me the police are not going to protect me. He says that I can call the police as much as I want, but that he's not going to stop harassing me on these calls. Not to mention...
Okay, and this is what he said today?
He has said this to me hundreds of times in messages in this app. He said to me...
But you're saying you spoke
today,
with him today?
Yep, today,
Right,
yes. And it says that I'm allowed to speak to my daughter. I'm allowed to have FaceTimes with my daughter. And it says that, I can contact him for the purpose of contacting my child. And when the protective order ended for him in the end of July, the very next day he continued to aggressively harass me on these calls, trying to tell me, come on, just talk to me, don't be a child, come on, just talk to me, continuously.
Okay. And that's what happened again today?
No, this has been going on every single day since January.
Right, you just said today that
so
you
today,
right,
and like I said,
I'm trying to find out what happened today.
Okay, yep, so I'm trying to explain to you. The last time when Officer Fernandez came to my house, it was July 24th or July 25th or something that week. And I showed him how he's continuing to harassingly speak to me on these calls when it's supposed to be a call just for me to talk to my child. I'm not calling to talk to him. I'm not allowed to talk to him. There's a protective order. There's also court orders from family court saying he can only speak to me in writing, only in writing. And so he continues to every single day, not just today, every day, harass me on these calls and talk to me directly and speak to me and interfere and constantly yell at me and talk to me during the calls. Just minutes prior to me calling you guys, I called to speak to my child. I had my mother on the phone as well on a 3-way, and I recorded the call. And during the call, my daughter said to me that he has her with her at a job site while he's building a deck because he owns a construction business. He has my 4-year-old daughter sitting there at a job site while he's doing a deck and not allowing us to see her. And so I said to her, like, my mother is her grandmother. I said, she wants to see you. We want to see you. He immediately starts taking the phone, yelling at us, saying, and I kept saying, like, and I kept saying to her, can you please?
Let me send an officer up to you then. What's your address?
Well, is Officer Fernandez there by chance today?
I'm not sure. I would have to check to see which area is which because it goes by areas.
Well, could you check? Because, like, if he is, I'd rather talk to him because he's the one who's dealt with this already, if I could. Could you check?
Well, let me start with your address.
It's 856 Shagbark, Shagbark Drive.
Okay. And how do you spell your first name?
Theodora. I just can't take this anymore. And it's like, I literally say to her, like, can you please walk away from him? He's not supposed to be talking to me on the calls. He was already told by the police. Then he starts screaming at me more. And it's like, how many times, like, I've never had a situation where the police refuse to tell somebody that they can't continue to harass somebody. Every other department.
Well, like I said, I'll send up an officer.
Well, could you first check if he's there? Because I'd like.
Just your telephone number.
Are you able to check if he's available, that specific officer that's dealt with this?
I can certainly check. I can't guarantee that he will be the one that will respond up, however. So give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So he is working, and he is the available officer, so we'll be sending him up as soon as he's available, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right.